Where I'm standing this morning is a bucket list item for me. This is so cool. I had no idea. Well, first let me back up a little bit. I'm in Nome, Alaska, which is pretty close to Russia, and that has something to do with what's behind me. This is a military installation that was used, I think, probably like in the 1950s, and it's called White Alice. And what it is a series of giant antennas, the best technology that the United States had at the time. And what these antennas would do is they would pick up the massive fleets of bombers, nuclear bombers, headed toward the United States to bomb, our cities and our military installations like Mount Weather in Virginia and Washington, D.C. and San Francisco and everything. I mean, everyone was terrified of the Russian bomber fleet. And these massive antennas behind me gave us some peace of mind because it allowed us many hours, I don't know how many hours, getting ready for the nuclear bombs to start falling. You could duck under your chair at the, in school and hide, duck in cover. A lot of you guys remember that. But I've always wanted to see this because it was such an important part of my generation, the generation before me, probably not so much. The people now don't even know about these things. So let's go ahead and take a walk around and see what's here. From what I understand, there were a lot more buildings here recently, but they tore them down and they just left the antennas up as a piece of our American history and world history, really. Look at that sky, it's so gorgeous here. But there would have been a lot of other buildings here, like barracks and computer buildings and things like that, that are gone now. Wow, I'm just amazed and humbled that I'm actually standing here. Oh, look, there's 4 antennas. I'm not sure what direction they're facing or exactly how this technology worked, but America's best and brightest set this up, so I'm assuming that they knew what they were doing. According to Steve Phillips, who is the guy who invited me up here to spend a couple of weeks, well, him and his son Spencer, they're gold hunters, so they have a dredging operation up here with several boats, and they also have some inland gold camps that we're going to visit. In a few days, we're going to spend about a week up there, and they have cabins and stuff that they rent out to like gold clubs. And he was telling me that there was a lot more buildings here and stuff just recently, and they were tearing them down, and they were going to tear the towers down, but there was a lot of local outcry because this is such an important part of our history. So they're still here, and I'm so glad because I got to see them in my lifetime. They'll probably be here for a long time. So we'll just take a quick walk around and just look at them. Bet it is cold up here in wintertime. Now these have been here since the 1950s. Look at that metal. I mean, it's just perfect. Look at that. Galvanized. And here's some raven. I'll zoom in on him and see that's a sign with a bunch of bullet holes in it. Massive antenna. Look at that. Oh, that's so cool. Let's look at this raven. Let's just take a peek at him. Well, there he is. That's a big old raven up there. He's fussing us a little bit. Look, you could still climb up the ladder if you wanted to. Wow. I'm not sure how all this worked, but it's very interesting just to be here and walk around. And if you look down here in the mud, you see these tracks. They look like cow tracks, but it's actually musk oxen. And there are a lot of them up here, and you've probably seen a video or two already that I might have posted or will be posting soon showing musk oxen. So I hope you enjoyed our little stop here. I know for me it was really cool to be able to see this again. It's called the White Alice Station, I guess. And early warning for the bear, the Red Russians, they're bombers, nuclear armed bombers. coming to the United States to pay us a visit. So let's head on over to Anvil Rock next. And that's the radar installation we just came from. There's Steve's beat up truck. It's really not too beat up. And Steve went up over the hill, but that's the anvil. That's named after, well, a tool called an anvil, which is what blacksmiths used to, make iron things, horseshoes, hammers, everything back in the old days. And what we're going to do is walk up over the hill together. I have not been up here yet. I've only seen the view from the truck. I think these pillars, these concrete piers right here, are probably part of that early warning system, though I don't know for sure. So this is Anvil Rock behind me, and I just want to give you a quick overview of what I can see down there. It's pretty cool. I'm just going to pan across so you can see what Nome, Alaska looks like. You might be asking yourself, well, what are all those ponds down there? Or you might not be, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And we're going to go back around up this valley right here, where there's a tremendous amount of gold found. And from what Steve was just telling me, if you look off in the distance there, you see a plant. That's a $200 million gold processing plant that they built not too long ago, and they only operated it for a couple months, and then they shut it down. So that's $200 million worth of equipment and the infrastructure and investing that just went down the drain. I think he said one of the problems was that part of their process was that they're going to use cyanide to process the crushed ore, and there was just such a public outcry over it that they decided not to do it. So $200 million. That valley was very rich in gold. You can see they have some of those whirligigs over there in the mountain for electricity. They're not turning today. If you look off in the distance there, that is Sledge Island. You've probably seen that in one or two of my videos already. And I'm just going to pan up the coast so you can see what it looks like. There's a dredge right there. That's in one of my videos. I can't remember what number it is, but it was pretty cool. That's the main mining area right now. You can see it's all dug up, and you can see those big ponds. Some of those were dug with the bucket line dredges, like that one that's sitting in that pond right there. They don't use them anymore naturally, but Nome off in the distance. Little towns, little towns. There's another dredge just sitting abandoned over there. I think Steve says there's like 80 of them scattered around Nome. That's in a video of that I made with muskox, collecting it off the trees. And Steve's cabin, Steven Spencer's cabin, is just right over in that area, where you can see there's some houses and whatnot. That's where their place is. Well, I hope you enjoyed our little stop here at the Anvil on Anvil Mountain, and also the radar installation over there. It's just really a cool place. Tremendous. If you ever make it to Nome, make sure you come up here, because you can get a real good overview or look and understand what is going on here and how everything's set up and the history of the place. And you get a good appreciation for just how difficult it must have been 100 years ago when the miners were coming up here and none of this was here. And they just had to kind of make their own way. It's just, people were really tough back then. So we'll see you on the next one. I hope you enjoyed this one. Can you see my eyes? It's too bright. I need to put my sunglasses back on. All right, gold. Let's go find some gold.